a very simple question. What do you worry most, Robin? Is it Brexit and how the negotiations are going, or is it tax and how those negotiations are going?
Well, where I sit, perhaps inevitably, I am concerned about Brexit, because if you do not get some immediate breakthroughs in December, the December 14th, 15th summit, there just isn't enough time, I think, through the rest of the year to complete the negotiations, not just on the withdrawal agreement, on the transition or implementation agreement, and on a framework for a final future deal. All have to be done, technically, by October, probably, of next year, to leave time for ratification by the European Parliament, by the British Parliament. That's an incredibly timeline. So you have to get through December. So Simon Coveney, the Irish government, know that this is their moment of maximum influence. They managed to get the Irish border as to one of the three critical requirements before you move to the next stage. The first two, money and EU citizens' rights, seem to be sort of fudged enough. He's going to get the most he can. Personally, I just don't see how he can be given enough.
Robin, I mean, the concern, right, is that, for example, Ireland is saying, well, you know, we're not treating Monday as a deadline. The EU is treating Monday as a deadline. So as long as there's sufficient progress, will Theresa May get a little bit of a, easier time with the EU?
Because the EU is the U27, and the thing about the U27 is you do not want to let one of your members look like they're being crunched in a bilateral negotiation of this sort, even though obviously Northern Ireland isn't one of the biggest economies. Each individual country has its moment of maximum leverage now. My sense is that there might be a way of fudging it, which is to say there's been enough progress made on the money, on the citizens, to start the discussion on the implementation period, but not enough progress on the Irish border. Therefore, we can't start discussions on the free trade deal. That gets pushed off to March. You buy 3 more months.
And first of all, you know, every time I have you here on set and we talk about Brexit, it just reminds me of having you as a guest host the day after the referendum, where all the markets were going haywire and you know, we didn't know what was going to happen next. We've come a long way. The markets are pretty chilled at the moment. How do they view the Irish question?
Well, the Irish question, if you're British or Irish, has been something that's been around for a bit of time. This isn't a new question. It's just a new form of what is a very, very old historical challenge. So I mean, I think the situation that we're in for the UK government is about the most difficult that it could be, because the UK government, after the general election, is now so deeply reliant on the DUP, the Northern Irish Party, which is probably the most sensitive about what the compromise can be. And it's very difficult right now to see as a black and white decision if there is anything which can satisfy both the DUP and the Irish government. One hopes that common sense prevails, and either we manage to push this into the next phase, or somebody really does magic up a compromise over where this hard border sits. I can't believe that these whole negotiations will founder on this one key issue now, given how much progress has been made. So I think there will be some sort of fudge or some sort of creating a different space for this discussion to take place in. But I think what's really, I suppose, been impressive from the EU27 side up until now is actually how tightly the EU has managed to maintain a common front on all of these issues. It's not allowed itself to be picked off by any one country.